Hey guys, how's it going? I hope everyone is doing well day or night whenever you tune in and see this. So this is going to be a general reading for water sign Cancer, the crab. Is for January 17th through February 17th. It is also a timeless reading, so that means it may resonate before or after the original time stamp. All right. So just as an example, for some people, it may resonate, 6 months in the past, 6 months in the future, a year in the past, a year in the future, days, weeks, hours, minutes, months, etc. All right. So always take it only how it resonates for you if it does. And this reading may resonate for you even if you are not a sun sign Cancer, a rising sign Cancer, or even have your moon in Cancer, as we all have all 12 zodiac signs throughout each individual birth chart. Okay, so hopefully you will find something here that you can resonate with. But I always encourage everyone, if you haven't already, to find out what your other placements are, right? What is your sun, rising, and moon as just an example or beginning stage, right? Because depending on what's going on in your life currently, you may resonate more with your sun sign, you may resonate more with your moon sign or your rising sign, or, also always check where your Venus is in for matters of love and certain money aspects as well. All right. So with all that being said, we're going to get into your reading here in just a moment here, Cancer. And I've pulled all of your cards and shuffled and placed everything here. So I also wanted to say that if you are new, welcome. And even if you're not new and you're coming back, welcome back. Right. And just as a reminder, I do take one photo at the end of all of the cards after the live in case you want to look at it at a later time, more up close in detail. Or if you're not watching the live and you want to pull it up and have it in the background while you watch or listen as well, all you have to do later is click in the description box below and follow the instructions there on how to see the photo if you're interested, but you don't have to, of course. And yeah, so let's go ahead and do a quick sound bell for some general grounding and healing for the reading, and then we will begin. All right, so just be aware, sometimes it does get a little loud if you're sensitive to that, whether you're listening with headphones or just without. All right. So if you want to, you can take a deep breath in and out whenever, or you can just listen. All right, Cancer. Okay. All right, Cancer. Let's get into your reading here. And again, I hope everyone is doing well. And always feel free, if you feel comfortable, to let me know later in the comments down below if this resonated for you, or if you have any other thoughts or just want to say hello. So you're always welcome to do that as well. All right, so we're going to start here in the center with your main 9 cards here, since we're covering a little bit of a longer time period than I've lately been doing recently. So we're covering a 5.5-week period instead of a 2-week period. So we are going to go back, excuse me, a little bit in time, since today is the 31st when we are filming this. Okay, so this first row here is energy starting around January 1st. It's not exact. Okay, it can be a little bit before, a little bit after. Going through, I'm sorry, I said January 1st. I meant to say January 17th. That's weird. Okay, I was actually thinking when I said that, that usually your first row sometimes is energy from the recent past. So maybe for somebody, it's for January 1st. All right. But I meant to say 17th. So maybe there's a reason I said that though. All right. So first row, January 17th through the 31st. Okay. And then the second row, as an example, would be the time period of February 1st through February 9th or so, okay? And then the last row here in the main center would be from February 9th to about February 17th or so. All right, and then after we talk about what's in the center, we'll also talk about what's on the top and the bottom of each deck, since I'm using two different decks. All right, and then at the very end, I do have a couple oracle cards for you as well. All right, so what else was I going to say? Yes. If you're watching this reading, right, as you go through it here with me, if you find that it's not resonating with you, not only, I would say check your sun, rising, and moon sign, like I said before, but also it could be about a person you're dealing with or multiple people, or it could be about your general environment situation, not directly you. Okay, so again, always, use your own intuition and take what resonates. Okay, so let's go ahead and call out your cards here, Cancer. We have, before that, actually, I wanted to mention you have 1, 2, 3, wait, 1, 2, 3. Okay, I guess you only have 3. You have 3 major arcanas, okay? So that does speak of some change coming through during this time period before or after beyond, right? But in some other readings, as an example, you could have maybe only 1 major arcana, or you have 4 or 5 or 6, all right? It really just depends. Obviously, it's not a competition, but I did want to go ahead before we get started to call out the other zodiac signs I see as far as the major arcana, okay? So you do also have one repeating card that we'll get into when Spirit tells me to get there. So go ahead and call out. You really only have 2 other zodiac signs that showed up in this reading here for you. We have Virgo twice, and then we have Scorpio. So really Virgo and Scorpio, okay? So what does that mean? It could mean nothing at all for you, but it also could be that you have a lot of Virgo and Scorpio in your chart, or the person that you're dealing with does predominantly in their chart, or the multiple people that you're dealing with, or again, maybe it has nothing at all to do with that. Now, let me actually pull up my astrology notes for this time period, because I can't remember all of it by hand, to see if there's anything going on in Virgo and Scorpio from January 17th through February 17th. I don't think so, but nope. All right. So sometimes if there is a zodiac sign that shows up in the reading, sometimes it does correlate with the astrology notes, but not this time. All right. So let's go ahead and get into it here. Cancer. So we start off your reading here with the Hermit in the reverse position. And that is, right, some of that Virgo energy we were talking about. Now, when the Hermit is in the reverse position, it means that either you yourself, Cancer, or someone you're dealing with, or multiple people that you're dealing with, or your general environment situation is not using their intuition or trusting their own inner guidance system in some way when it is in the reverse position, okay? Because here we see normally when it's right side up, this old man, sometimes it's a woman, it depends, right? But they're usually holding a lantern or a torch, okay? Or some kind of light. And he's got this staff kind of thing with this magic light at the end of it. And he's standing at the edge of the cliff, right? And he's off on his own, okay? But he's using his own inner guidance system. This is one of actually my favorite cards in the tarot, okay? And it's very similar to High Priestess energy as well, right? Trusting your heart, your inner guidance system, your gut, like what are things telling you? How does it feel to you? That kind of thing. So it's in the reverse position here. And maybe when I was starting to say earlier that this is energy from the recent past, and what is the recent past to you? It'll be different for everyone. It could be a couple of months ago. It could be a couple of weeks ago. It could be a couple of years ago. It could be a couple of minutes ago, right? It really just depends. But I did say January 1st for some reason earlier. So maybe that resonates for somebody that maybe this, not fully feeling like yourself and trusting your own intuition and inner guidance system. Maybe it started around January 1st, okay? But it doesn't have to be. Again, it is a general reading. But before we go forward here, I actually want to, or Spirit wants me to talk to you about what's on the top and the bottom of your other deck here in relation to this Hermit in reverse to give us even more energy and information. So this, when we talk about what's on the top and the bottom of the deck, is energy from the way, way back past. So not the recent past, but the way, way back past. And again, that will be different for everybody. But what we have here, and this actually showed up in the other deck when I was shuffling, it didn't come out, but it kind of peeked its head out at me, right, is the Six of Cups in the right side up position. And then what we have on the bottom here of the deck was the Seven of Pentacles in the right side up position here. And hopefully you can see it. All right. And so let me pull it up too with this Hermit card, because that's why we're talking about it, right? And so this is basically telling us here, Cancer, that in the way, way back past, there could have been some issues from childhood, perhaps for some, or it was just in the way back past, you were dealing with a lot of people that you knew from the past in a certain way. It could also deal with childhood nostalgia and viewing the world like a child, that you're only seeing the positive, or things are more in like those rose-colored glasses type situation. But again, it will be different for everybody. And then when we put it in connection with the Seven of Pentacles in the right side up position here, this talks about somebody's work ethic. And maybe work ethic is not the right way to describe it, because it doesn't necessarily have to do with work. It's how much effort you are putting into something, or someone else is putting into something, or multiple people are putting into something, right? Because we see this man here, and he's he's carrying some baskets of pentacles, right? But he looks like a farmer, and there's some kind of plant in the background. So normally when you see this card, sometimes you see a man plucking fruit from a tree, and some of it is fruit and some of it is pentacles. So it's like, okay, I've done a certain amount of work and I've gotten the gains from it, but there's still a lot of work that I still need to do. So that's why it's about work ethic, but not necessarily just about work. It's about how much effort you're putting into something, or someone else is putting into something. Excuse me. So when we talk about it, again, in connection with the Six of Cups right side up, it's like, how much effort are you putting into connections from your past, or childhood issues from your past, or how much connection and effort are you putting into keeping some type of rose-colored glasses on, or not viewing the world in a more adult, positive, and negative viewpoint, okay? Now, when we put these all together, right, with the Hermit in the reverse position, it could be that this, since this is more recent, current energies, or recent past energies, and this is way, way back past energies, that the reason why someone isn't using their inner guidance system, or their intuition, or trusting themselves, their feelings, okay, their first nudges about something, could be because in the past somebody told them not to trust that, and told them not to put effort into trusting that, for some, okay? But it will differ for everybody. Now, I don't want to stay too long on this card, so we will keep going forward. But yeah, there's a couple things to think about there. And we'll go back later because the Hermit is actually your repeating card. And so it showed up in the same position in the other deck. So we'll talk about kind of later what that may mean, okay? But it is a particular message from Spirit when it shows up twice, because I do a lot of shuffling and cutting of the deck. So when it comes out, it really comes out, right? It's not me, it's Spirit, that brings these cards about. Okay. So now your second card here, Cancer, is the Two of Cups in the right side up position. And this is a really beautiful energy of some type of union, okay? It can be a romantic union, it can be a work partnership union, or a union with friends or family, okay? But it's an equal give and take between both sides, and it is divinely guided, and it's higher vibrational union, okay? So what does higher vibration mean? It means that both parties in whatever union this is are being their highest, most vibrational self. The better sides of themselves are coming out and together with each other, okay? And they're both giving each other equal back and forth, a give and take, all right? Now, when we get to your third card here, Cancer, you do have the Princess of Swords in the reverse position. And since this is in the first row, this could be energy from even, this past weekend, and a little bit, of today, or even midweek next week, right? It will depend for everybody, depending on when you're watching it, of course. But, it's like someone, again, here has a little bit of some mental confusion, and they're not taking in any recent realizations, spiritual downloads. Oh, now I understand something. Oh, aha moments. Oh, now I get it. Kind of energy that maybe, could have stemmed from that Two of Cups, the union card. So when you show up in a positive union with somebody and you both are in a higher vibrational frequency, again, whether it's romantic or platonic or friends or family or even self-love, right? This can bring about a lot of beautiful things. But here it's like someone is denying accepting that. And that could be you, Cancer, or the other person, or multiple people, general environment situation. But we really see that with the Princess of Swords in the reverse position here, okay? Because normally when it's right side up, the sun is in the background. So the sun and the sun card in the tarot represents spiritual downloads, enlightenments, aha moments, I finally understand something, realizations, okay? But it is in reverse. The other thing I would say about this card too is that the sun is reflected in the water as well. And so water in the tarot represents our emotions. So since it's in the reverse position, it could be that somebody's emotions here are clouding their judgment, clouding their mental clarity, or their intellectual, logical side of something, and somebody is denying this enlightenment, revelation, spiritual downloads, etc. All right. But there are some other really great cards, so I wouldn't get too down about it, right? But it is like a little bit of a blockage or some stagnant energy, but all readings usually have at least one or two of those. So not to worry too much, okay, Cancer? Now, moving forward into your fourth card, we actually have a little bit of another blockage here, and it's directly following the Princess of Swords. And here you have the Five of Swords in the right side up position. So I'll just show you both the cards together, following each other, right, for just a moment, right? The Princess of Swords and then the Five of Swords right side up. So here this card speaks of, mental confusion, right? Anxiety, worry, overthinking, being too much up in your head, either you or someone else or multiple people, general environment situation. But this card also talks about being overly defensive. So this Japanese person is holding, right, gathering. They have two swords in their hand, and then there's three in the background, right? So they're like, I'm overly defensive about something because I'm confused. But it also talks about being too focused on the past and too focused on the future, or both of those things, and not enough of the present moment, right? So it's calling attention here to you, Cancer, starting with the second row, which is energy around February 1st through February 9th, okay? But Your card following that, your fifth card, right, is the Six of Sacred Circles in the right side up position. So, you had two blockages following each other, and then now there is more abundant energy. There is more forward momentum energy, okay, and also maybe possibly the balancing of some chakras, somebody's chakras, or both people's chakras, or multiple people's chakras, right? The energy system within your body. If you're not aware of chakras, you can Google it, right? But this is a card that speaks of well, it speaks of gratitude, and it speaks of paying things forward, and also of charity, right? So charity isn't necessarily just giving back money. It can be giving back time, giving back energy, helping an elderly person carry their groceries cross the street, helping a younger person learn a skill or craft that you know, etc. Okay, but it's not 10 of Pentacles, right? It's not 2 of Pentacles either. It's like 6. So it's solely stacking your abundance. It is forward momentum. It is, positive energy here. Now, there is the full moon in the background in this card, and I actually wanted to look up. We have a new moon tonight, depending on where you are, time you are in the world. But I want to look up when the February full moon is. I can't remember off the top of my head because this is the week of February 1st through the 9th. So, excuse me, just one second here. I'm going to look up the February 2022. Oops. Okay. Full moon date. Okay, so the next full moon will be on February 16th, and this reading is going to the 17th. So even though it's in this row, and this won't be for everybody, right? It's a general reading, but it could be saying that something that's starting in this second row in the first week of February could be reaching its height during the actual full moon, more towards the end of the third row, right? Since it's saying February 16th. But I did want to just look that up if it does speak to some. All right. So, moving forward here, your next card, right after the Six of Sacred Circles or Six of Pentacles, right side up there, we were just talking about, you have the Ten of Cups, okay? And what a beautiful card. The Ten of Cups is a completion card. It's talking about endings and new beginnings. It also has a celebratory energy to it, right? And the cups in the tarot represent our emotions, just like the water. So what makes me emotionally fulfilled, emotionally content, emotionally happy? What are my emotional boundaries? What are my emotional priorities? All of those things also come up here. Now, when we talk about it being a completion card, right, from being 1 or 0 to 10 in the tarot, 10 being the largest number, it is the endings and new beginnings card. So there could be some endings and new beginnings towards the end of the first week of February. I'm like, end, right? But it also could be some celebratory energy here. It also, when we talk about leveling up as far as the completion or ending a new beginning, it could be that you're leveling up in a relationship, romantic or platonic, with friends or family. You could be leveling up in a work partnership or work in general, or you could be leveling up and getting better at your health. You could be leveling up with your money, with your how much you're getting paid, or your stocks, or whatever, right? Your Bitcoin, whatever, okay? But that is the energy that's present in this card, okay? But if it's not a particular leveling up for you, the other personal, general environment situation, it could just be, again, asking those questions of what are my emotional priorities, my emotional boundaries, what makes me happy, what makes me fulfilled, what makes me emotionally content, all of those things. And also just some really nice energy for momentum and positive energy and celebration, celebratory or celebration energy. All right. So however you see it, it looks very nice right there. And then following that, right, your seventh card is another celebratory energy, and it is your second union card. Okay, so here as your seventh card, we have the Four of Staves in the right side up position. All right, so remember you had the Two of Cups in the right side up position before, right? So we were talking about a higher vibrational union, whether it's romantic or platonic, or with friends or family, or even self-love, however you think of this union that we're talking about. Or it could be multiple unions for you. I don't know. But it is also celebratory energy, following the celebratory energy from the Ten of Cups to the Four of Staves, right? So very nice. And when we get deeper into the Four of Staves, also known as Four of Wands, you see these two Egyptian people here in the card, right? And there's no one else in the room, but we've got grapes and wine and cheese in the foreground, and then they're sitting down talking in the background. But this is also a communications card for some, but it's a vulnerability, and it's a more relaxed energy, right? So like if you're at a party and it's a good party, you're going to be more relaxed, right? Especially if you're talking with someone or several people. Okay, now it could be that if we're talking about, again, some type of union or celebration or vulnerability that's coming up here in your third row, and that's energy around, right, February 9th through the 17th. This could be a little bit of a catalyst for change, definitely. It could be a catalyst for good change or bad change. It could be a big change or a small change, right? It could be a lot of things, but change is definitely in the air here with your second major arcana that we're talking about, the Tower in the right side up position. So this card is not to be feared, right? If you're not familiar with tarot, it talks about, just like the sun, here we see lightning hitting the top of the tower. That represents your crown chakra, your intellect, right? And the tower represents similar energy of the sun card, right? So revelations. Oh, now I finally understand something. I got more information. I'm having a spiritual download. Okay, however you want to say it. But it's not something, to be feared, because it could be good or bad. It could be big or small, but it is definitely some change. Okay. Now, when we talk about, also real quickly to go back just for a second, since the tower is following the Four of Staves in the right side up position, it's like if you got into some type of communications with someone, and it was very vulnerable on both sides or some side, but it has the celebratory, relaxed energy. Maybe this sparks the tower coming in here and bringing some change. Okay. Now, before actually we go forward, this is where my spirit guides wanted me to talk to you about what's on the top and the bottom of your other deck here in relation to the tower, again, real quickly here. So when we talk about, excuse me, what's on the top and the bottom, it's energy from the way, way back past, not recent past, but way, way back. And it will be different for everybody. It could be a couple of days ago, a couple of weeks, a couple of months, a couple of years, right, etc. But what we have on the top of the deck is the Queen of Swords in the right side up position, and on the bottom is the Two of Staves, also known as Two of Wands, in the reverse position, okay, in relation to this Tower card. So what do we have in both these cards, just so if you're watching? Water, right? Water represents our emotions, okay, but they're in reverse. So it could be, remember I said that vulnerability. Well, what does being vulnerable mean? Yes, you can be physically vulnerable with somebody, right? If you're getting naked in front of them for the first time, right, as an example. But when we talk about emotions, we're talking about emotional vulnerability, right? Because we're also talking about the Four of Staves being some type of conversation for some. Relaxed conversation, that this may be hard for somebody here. This may be hard for you, Cancer. I don't really feel like it's you, but it could be for some, because Cancer, you are a water sign, and you do have a tendency to, not everybody, right? It's generalization, but I have a lot of Cancer in my chart, so that's why I feel like saying it. But to be really in touch with your own emotions and other people's emotions. A lot of you, if you have a lot of Cancer placements, you could be even empaths, right? Feeling other people's emotions very easily. But regardless of that, right? Put that aside, just as a general note. When you have this Queen of Swords in reverse and the Two of Staves or Two of Wands in reverse, it's like somebody's emotions maybe are too much to handle, and it led to this Tower moment where they had a revelation, a spiritual download, aha moment. I finally understand something. It doesn't, again, have to be bad, right? Change is a part of life, and it can be good even if it's painful, okay? But also with the Two of Staves or Two of Wands in the reverse position, when we talk about this way back past energy, it could be that somebody wasn't quite ready to step back out into the world socially in a certain way. And that kind of really, I don't always say that with that card, but I really felt it, right? Because when we were talking about a party, even if it's a Zoom party or whatever, what is a party, right? But they're celebrating something, they're relaxed, they're having a communication. But it could be, even if it's only two people or two parties or groups of people, that's something social, right? Again, even if it's over the phone or on Zoom or what have you, right? It could be somebody wasn't quite fully ready to step back into the world, because when the Two of Staves or Two of Wands is right side up, you see just the back of this Egyptian woman, and she's looking out into the Nile River. She's watching the ships go by, and she's like trying to people watch and gather herself. And it's not a go card or energy. It's a more passive, slowing down, like intuitive card energy, trying to figure out what the next steps or moves to make about something. Okay. But it is, in reverse. So again, maybe somebody wasn't ready to deal with all of these social outings or vulnerability or situation here. And so this kind of maybe forced them or forced you, Cancer, or forced multiple people or forced the environment, right, to look at something in a different way, in a more broad perspective of putting all the pieces together and having that revelation and that spiritual download. All right, so now moving forward, because that's enough time on that. We have your 9th card here, and the last one in the main center is the Prince of Sacred Circles in the right side up position. And again, this talks about communication. So we have 2 communications cards. I'm just checking all of them real quickly. We have 2 union cards. So yeah, it feels like it could be a theme here. I also wanted to count, because I didn't do it earlier, how many major arcanas you have for each major arcana, to see another kind of underlining theme of your reading. So we have, let's count the cups first. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. We have 4 cups cards, and then we have 1, 2, hush. People, I don't know if they can see you. You're under the table, Nefertiti. Pentacles, sorry. 1, 2, I guess only 2, so it's definitely not pentacles. How many swords do we have? 2, so it's not swords. How many wands do we have? We have 1 wand. So it is cups, right? So the underlining theme, okay, for some people for this reading can definitely be the minor arcana of the cups, of all the emotions, okay? And what does that mean in regards to your emotions, in regards to their emotions, if you're dealing with one person or if you're dealing with a cat. You guys see her? You showed yourself. Maybe she's a Cancer. She be feeling all the feels sometimes. All right. Anyway, guys. So That's just something to think about. But let's get back into your ninth card here, the Prince of Sacred Circles in the right side up position, okay? And this could be towards the middle of that second week of February to even mid-February, right? So the last row goes till about the 17th of February or so, but it could go, further for some people, right? But what we see is this Native American man, and he's holding the peace pipe, and we see through the shafts of light that he's been smoking. Someone's been smoking. So, in Native American culture, tobacco in a lot of different cultures is about communication, right? Because a lot of times tobacco was really sacred and it was really valued and traded with. And so you would sit down and share that with someone, right? And so when this Prince of Sacred Circles, also known as Prince of Pentacles, comes in towards the end of your reading here in the main 9 cards, it's almost like somebody is serious about something they want to talk about, but also they're not like set in their ways or set in a certain style of the way that they want to communicate with you or the way that you want to communicate with someone else, right? Because he is a prince, all right? He's not a page, but he's in the middle. It goes page, prince, king, or page, knight, king, right? But he's a prince, all right? So he's in the middle, so he's still open to learning new things. He isn't a young guy, right? But he isn't gray or old either, okay? So that's definitely something to think about. But this is also for momentum. This is positive energy. This is stacking your abundance, right? Pentacles, sacred circles do represent wealth and money and abundance, but abundance isn't just wealth and money. It can be whatever you want to manifest in your life. But regardless of how you may or may not resonate with this card, it is very positive, okay? Now, with all that being said, let's go ahead now and get into your tarot confirmation cards that we have with the other deck. And I'll call them out and then we'll kind of go in order here. So we do have the 7 of Cups in the reverse position, the Hermit, I was about to say Hierophant, but I meant to say the Hermit in reverse position. That's your repeating card. We'll talk about it in a minute. Then we also have the Knight of Wands in reverse, and then we also have the 8 of Pentacles right side up. So these first 2 tarot confirmation cards, oh my goodness, come here. People need to see what this mouth is talking about. Watch. You talk to everybody. You have to wait. You have to wait your turn. Say hi, everybody. All right. Sorry, guys. I love the animals. Okay. So what I was starting to say before I was rudely interrupted was that these first 2 tarot confirmation cards is energy from the recent past. Okay, again, what does that mean for you? And then the last 2 confirmation cards are more future current energies, okay, going forward. So when we first talk about the 7 of Cups in the reverse position, and this is, like confirming your first 3 cards going vertically, right? And I'll pull them up in a second and hold them all together. But the 7 of Cups, can mean that in the recent past, somebody was starting to come out of some dark night of the soul energy. That's what it would be if it was right side up, right? The 7 of Cups. It's window shopping for options. In every cup, there's a different option. Okay, but it is in reverse. So maybe somebody's made a choice about something. They've picked the option that they've decided on, and they're coming out of that dark night of the soul, wandering, I'm not sure energy. And this is again from the recent past. And it's coming in here and confirming the Hermit in reverse, the 5 of Swords right side up, and the 5 of, I keep saying the wrong thing here, and the 4 of Staves in the right side up position. I'm going to come a little closer just so I can hear, so you can hear me and see the cards a little more easily. Okay. So here we have in the center, right, your confirmation card, the 7 of Cups in reverse, confirming the Hermit in reverse, the 5 of Swords right side up, and the 4 of Staves, known as 4 of Wands, right side up. So that now I've made a decision. I'm coming out of not sure what to do. I've made a decision or chose an option about something, right? It could be that with the Hermit in reverse, we'll go one by one, guys, that maybe somebody's second guessing a decision that they made, or they're not sure. They used all of their intellect or their inner guidance system to make the best decision. There could be a little bit of a second guessing kind of energy here from the recent past, right, with the Hermit in reverse. Now, when we talk about it in relation to the 5 of Swords right side up, you know, this is kind of saying, well, it's interesting because the 7 of Cups in reverse, right, is you made a decision about something, or someone's made a decision about something here. They've come out of the dark night of the soul energy, but again, it is still kind of a second guessing energy from the recent past that leaks into the current energies as well a little bit here in that second week, the first week of February, because the 5 of Swords right side up is like focusing too much on the past and focusing too much on the present, and not the present, sorry, focusing too much on the past and too much on the future and not enough on the present. So second guessing, did I make the right choice? Did I pick the right cup? Did I make the right decision? All that, right? But also to say, did I pick the right emotion? Did I display the right emotion to myself or to others as well, right? Because when we talk about cups, that's emotions in tarot. Okay, so am I being too defensive with my emotions in the recent past and still kind of currently lingering around a little bit, right? With him holding 2 swords here. Am I being competitive with others with my emotions, or is someone else doing that to me, or vice versa, or all of it, or the general environment situation? Now, when the 7 of Cups comes in here and confirms the 4 of Staves in the right side up position, it's like, okay, so now somebody here, whether it's you, Cancer, or the other person, multiple people, general environment situation, it's like, okay, I'm being vulnerable, I'm being more relaxed, I'm having some type of communication about a union or in a union, whether it's romantic or platonic with friends or family, or even different parts of myself when we talk about self-love. But am I showing the right emotion? Am I making the right decision? Are they? Are we? Is everybody? All right. So let's keep going forward though. Now here is your repeating card, and you know, it doesn't always happen, right? Sometimes I get 1 or 2 repeating cards. Sometimes in a reading I can get 3 or 4, and sometimes I don't get any, right? But in this, and sometimes 1 is right side up and sometimes 1 is reversed. But here, in both decks, they are both reversed. So here's your Hermit, okay, if you're watching. It's interesting to see how the 2 different artists kind of depict similar energy. I'm trying to make sure that glare from the window doesn't get in there, okay? So here it's a woman holding a lantern, right? And then the other one, it's a man holding a lantern or a staff or a torch, okay? But they're both in the reverse position, and 1 is current energies and 1 is recent past energies, right? So it could be that, again, there is something from the recent past that triggered you again, perhaps in the end of January, even first week or so of February here, Cancer, where you weren't trusting your intuition, your inner guidance system, your you know, hunches, your signs from the universe, all of those things, okay? And again, I do shuffle and cut the deck several times, and there's usually 72 tarot cards in each deck, so that's 1 in 72 chances that it's going to come out again and in the same position, no less. All right. But I just wanted to show you those together, and then we'll talk about, since we already know what it, kind of means, which cards it's coming in here and confirming. It's confirming the Two of Cups, the Six of Sacred Circles, and the Tower in the right side up position. And they're all right side up, okay? Even though the Hermit is in reverse here in the center. So when we talk about the Hermit in reverse, it could have been a catalyst card to then, bringing some type of union about, or even if the union was already there, right? Again, romantic or platonic with friends or family, or even self-love union, okay? But it's like, okay, I'm not using my intuition, my inner guidance system. Well, maybe I can rely on this partner, this romantic partner. Maybe I can rely on this work partnership or somebody at work. Or maybe I can rely on friends or family to tell me something that maybe I'm having a hard time telling myself, okay? Or vice versa, all right? Now, when we talk about it, in relation to the Six of Sacred Circles or Six of Pentacles, right side up. Let me put this down. I'm so itchy. Sorry, guys. It's about this being a catalyst card too. Again, so being like, well, the last one wasn't necessarily a catalyst, but this one it is, right? Because it's like, okay, if I can't trust myself or know myself as much right now, either you yourself, Cancer, or another person or multiple people, general environment, situation. Hey, hush, hush. I know, in a minute. Then maybe I'm going to call on my community. So I'm going to give back to others so they can help give to me what I may be missing. Oh, you're really showing yourself today, huh? You really showing off. You really showing everybody. Nefertiti? Uh-huh. We're just going to ignore you. Okay. So I don't think she's ever done that during one of my readings. That's so funny. Are you a Cancer, boo? Are you a Cancer? Yeah. Well, too bad, because you have to wait for your dinner, okay? Sorry, guys. So I'll just ignore her, and hopefully you will too. But, so if you're giving back to others, right, that charity, that grateful generosity card, not just necessarily giving back money to others, but giving back your time, your energy, and your knowledge, right? So helping an elderly person cross the street, for example, or helping an elderly person carry their groceries up the stairs, or you're helping a younger person with a skill or craft that you know about. Maybe that is, you're trying to do that, not because you want a reward or something back in return, but you're trying to do that to get in touch with yourself again. And, I feel like it does work, right? We already know that, because in following it, you have the Ten of Cups, and you have all the celebratory energy. Okay, so it does look like it may work out for you to do that. All right. Now, also real quickly, when we talk about, where did it go? Yes, here we go. The Tower, right? So the Hermit in reverse is also confirming the Tower. Okay, so remember how I was talking about the inner lights being the intuition, the inner guidance system, your nudges. Yes, right on the bell there. It's a general bell. And then we see the light here, and then we see the light here in the lightning, in the Tower, in the crown chakra, right? So it's like, okay, if you're not going to listen to yourself here, Cancer, or the other person's not going to listen to their own self here, or multiple people, general environment, situation, then the universe is going to come in and be like, okay, well, I'm going to tell you, you're going to take this revelation, this spiritual download. You're going to finally take all this information in and process it. Okay, you want to or not. And remember, this energy with the Hermit in reverse position is energy from the recent past, just confirming those cards. Now, going forward, your last two confirmation cards are more in the future, current energies, right? So we have the Knight of Wands in reverse and the Eight of Pentacles right side up, okay? And both of those cards are confirming, those confirmation cards are confirming the third vertical row down, okay, but for a little bit different reasons. All right, so with the Knight of Wands in the reverse position, this is also actually, remember how I said before you had 2 union cards and 2 communications cards? That's not true, because this is a communication card as well, even though it's in the reverse, all right? And it's a Knight, right? The Knight of Wands in reverse. So no, this is a blockage, right? When it's in the reverse position, this card, but it could just be a reminder because it's in the future current energy. So it could be a warning, a reminder, to just kind of help you think about things, maybe in advance or even after the fact, right? Depending on, it's a general reading, it'll be different for everybody. But you know, with the Knight of Wands in reverse position, it's like, okay, there could have been a communication that you were going to give to someone or someone was going to give to you that was either put on hold, it wasn't well received, or it just didn't happen at all. But it is this stagnant kind of energy, okay? Now, what is also to note, and I think Gemini got this card, but it was in the right side up position in a totally different reading. But the reason why I mention it is because this is a new deck for me. But in the background, I noticed when it was right side up that there's a volcano in the background, right? Another light, all this fiery energy, right? And we talk about emotions, not that this is a cups card, it's a wands card. But when we talk about emotions, if we keep them too buried inside, sometimes they just kind of erupt out or fall out. And I'm saying that as a sun sign Sagittarius, right? Sometimes even I do that, right? I'm like, oh, it doesn't bother me, blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden I'm like, it just comes out before I even know it. And then I'm like shocking myself and others, right? So, you know, not necessarily for everybody, but it really is, never see, I'm gonna kick your ass. You better stop. Go do something. Go do something for a little bit. It is, you know, kind of like maybe this communication didn't happen or wasn't well received or was put on hold because somebody didn't want to have this communication come off as being just erupting out of nowhere, perhaps for some, right? But anyway, regardless of that, okay, let's go ahead and confirm these cards. We have the Knight of Wands in reverse, confirming the Princess of Swords in reverse, and the Ten of Cups right side up, and the Prince of Sacred Circles right side up as well, okay? So that communication that is possibly put on hold, or general stagnant energy, right? Stagnant energy could be why that, again, there's mental confusion, anxiety, worry, overthinking, having the emotions confuse us, and someone is denying this revelation, enlightenment kind of energy, okay, in relation to possible communication as well. Okay, so that kind of came up several different ways in your reading there. But, you know, when the Knight of Wands is also confirming the Ten of Cups, it could be in some ways a catalyst card, right, for the Ten of Cups to show up. So it's like, okay, maybe this stagnant energy was there because they were waiting, or you were waiting, or multiple people were waiting, or vice versa, for somebody to level up in some way, or for celebratory energy to be more present, right? And hopefully, you know, that is the way that it comes out here for most of you guys, okay? Because I really do feel that it is a catalyst, right? And it maybe they were waiting, or you were waiting to be in a better place, right? When we talk about the cups, we also talk about our emotions, right? What makes me emotionally content, what makes me emotionally happy and fulfilled. So maybe a communication, you know, didn't go through, or was put on hold, or wasn't well received because somebody here was waiting for the emotions to be better, or celebratory energy, or somebody to possibly level up in some way. Because remember, I said this card was about endings and new beginnings. So maybe somebody here was waiting for the other person or for themselves to, you know, be in a higher paying job, or be in better health, or be it could be so many different things, right? So it is a completion card. It's a 10, okay? So that is definitely something to think about as well. You are something else, girl. All over my cards. Have you lost your mind? All right. And then we have also the Knight of Wands in reverse here, confirming your ninth card, the Prince of Sacred Circles or Prince of Pentacles right side up. So here it does look like a catalyst too. It's like maybe this is saying, this is how I feel here, just coming now to me from Spirit, that like if somebody isn't ready, and similar to kind of what I just said too, if somebody isn't ready for some type of communication, maybe don't force it, okay? You know, or if a communication is forced upon you or forced upon them or multiple people, general environment situation, try to remain open like the Prince of Sacred Circles, Prince of Pentacles, and say, I'm going to keep my communication style more relaxed, and I'm going to maybe think of a different way of communicating with this person or with these multiple people or with myself or what have you, okay? Because remember, he's not a king yet. He's still a prince. He's still willing to learn and take things in. Oh my goodness. All right. So your last confirmation card is going to be confirming the same ones we kind of talked about, but in a different way, right? So here we have, you actually had in the way back past, the Seven of Pentacles right side up. And here in this future current energies, you have the Eight of Pentacles right side up. So that's a nice progression to see, okay? And they're both in the right side up position. So the Eight of Pentacles is about putting in a lot of hard work, long hours and effort into something, right? You see this guy leaning over, chiseling away at his coin at the pentacles with his hammer up in the air, all right? But it's also about learning a new skill or craft or trade, but it's being productive, really, really productive, maybe even to the point of, you know, being a workaholic in some way, right? But it doesn't necessarily, excuse me, just have to be about being productive at work, right? It could be being productive in a relationship with friends or family, with a creative project, with whatever, right? But when this card comes in here and it is confirming, excuse me, Nefertiti, I hope I'm not in your way. And it is confirming the Princess of Swords in reverse, the Ten of Cups right side up, and the Prince of Sacred Circles right side up. It's kind of saying, we'll go one by one, that it is like, okay, so your emotions in the recent past, or not even recent past, but recently, your emotions recently, or someone else's emotions, or multiple people's emotions, were all over the place. It was causing some mental confusion, anxiety, worry, overthinking, and someone was denying enlightenment, revelation, spiritual downloads. Okay, so what are we going to do while that's going on? We're going to be really productive at something. It kind of goes back to the Six of Sacred Circles, or the Six of Pentacles, where we talked about the charity card, and it being about, I'm going to give my time, not only my money, to somebody else because I can't trust myself right now. And I'm having a hard time trusting myself, so I'm just going to work really hard in the meantime. It's kind of like that similar energy here again. Excuse me. Thank you. Now, when we're doing this one. When this Eight of Pentacles comes in here and confirms the Ten of Cups right side up, it's like, okay, I'm going to level up in some way, possibly for some. I'm going to get into a celebratory energy for some. And for some, or maybe all of it, right? I'm going to define my emotional priorities, my emotional boundaries, what makes me emotionally happy, what makes me emotionally fulfilled. It could be that what makes you emotionally happy and emotionally fulfilled is really working hard. It's something, putting in long hours and really making an effort, and being open to learning a new skill or craft here. All right. Thank you, Nefertiti. And now the dogs are starting. Guys, really. So with all that being said, guys, that is what I have for you regarding tarot. But before you go and before I kill all my animals here, um, in the best way possible, right? Let's talk about your oracle cards real quickly. I'm gonna back up a little bit here too. So these are usually lighter information, right? But let's get into it. So your first two here are your love oracle messages, and this time, Cancer, you did get two. Most of the time, I only take one, but Spirit really wanted me to take two, so I took it. All right. So your love oracle message. The first one is whether you're watching for romantic love, or platonic love with friends or family, or even self-love, right? Or all of the above. Your first love oracle message is unrequited love. There's not enough attraction or chemistry to keep this relationship going. All right. Hopefully you can see that there. So, it's not always the best card to get, but that's what Spirit wanted, okay? And it doesn't necessarily, again, have to be romantic. It could be even you rejecting someone else, right? Or you rejecting a work partnership, or you rejecting a romantic partner, or you rejecting some type of relationship with friends or family. It really kind of depends. But the main message or takeaway here, there's enough attraction chemistry to keep the relationship going, okay? Whatever relationship that may be. All right. Now, your second love oracle message isn't as harsh, but it is can be related for some, right? But it is release your ex. The time has come to clear your energy. All right. And so, this could be an ex romantic partner. It could be an ex friend, or an ex family member, or a family member that is now excommunicated from the family, or what your idea of family is, or whatever. Um, and, I don't know how this one would relate to self love exactly, but I would say that if it's just talking about self love, it could just be that you need to clear your energy, right? You take out time has come to clear your energy. If you take out release your ex, it still says time has come to clear your energy. So it could talk about some cleansing rituals here for yourself. When this shows a regard to self, who doesn't always enjoy a good cleansing. One really good, easy cleansing that one of my teachers told me about, Patty Negri. Patty Negri, if you're out there, if you see this, she talks about this in her book, but you can do like a simple bath or cleansing ritual, even if you don't have a bath and you just have a shower, where you take honey. I'm sorry, not honey. Is it honey? No, it's, I don't know where I got honey from. Sorry, let's try that again. Go backwards. Salt, milk, and sugar. Okay, so you start with sugar. No, that's not right. God damn it. You start with salt, the purifying cleansing. We're talking about cleansing rituals, right? So if you start with salt, you're getting away of all the toxins, okay? And then once you do that, you put in the milk. The milk is number 2. Okay, so you're putting in this nurturing energy back after you took away some really bad stuff. Now you need the nurturing side. And then the sugar is to put the sweetness back in at the end. That's a third. Okay, so you put it all over your body and you don't leave it there. You don't want to be sticky and stuff, but you wash it off. But it's just kind of like a simple ritual to get your frame of mind in that kind of energy. All right, so with that being said, let's do your last oracle card. This is your Remy oracle card. There's the Remy or Rumi, depending on how you pronounce it, is a 13th century poet. He's one of my favorite poets out there. He's a Persian poet. And there is the Rumi oracle deck by Elena Fairchild that I recently found that I really like. So anyway, your Remy oracle card for this time period or even beyond is card number 28, and it says, enter the garden of delights. Okay, so I'm going to read a little bit of the poem that this comes from and what it means, and the little like prayer you can do if you're into it. Okay, so it says, enter the garden of delights. Are you aware that sweetness is found everywhere in town? Are you aware that winter is gone and spring has come round? Are you aware that sweet basil and the carnation are whispering in the garden and laughing about how simply everything is found? Are you aware the nightingale has come back from its first singing? Wait, sorry. Are you aware that nightingale has come back from its flight? Sorry, singing out messages of love to spread delight with every sound? There we go. Everything in the garden is granted the right from the divine court to appear for our delight. Everything is here to make the earth green and alive as a haven of our life. What remains buried in the soil will always endeavor to reach out. Okay. No one truly alive can ever be pawned to a prison or a tomb. Interesting. And then the rest of the little poem here. I guess that was the beginning part of the poem. It says, there is a sweet spot when entering the Garden of Delights, a moment where the senses have gorged themselves upon beauty and become heavy with their fullness, slowing the minds so that they can perceive the divine beloved dancing behind the veils of nature. But first comes the sensual feasting. Blooming orchards arrest the gaze with their startling and strange beauty. Nectar from the ripest fruits of the garden drips, luscious and sweet, upon a savoring tongue. Hungry for gossip, the ears shamelessly eavesdrop upon the birds, and a oh my god, I can't say this right now. And a melody conversation. They sing of greatest, most precious love and boundless living joy. The ears open wide to take it all in. The craving for touch is satiated by the rich, textured bark falling from the ancient trees. Soft, dewy grasses cool in the shade, the crunching leaves making their sounds under the hot sun, and dancing feet, and the caress of the sunlight upon bare shoulders, with weight of its own like a silken wrap placed just so by a caring lover's hand. The breeze, the very breath of the beloved earth mother, is still sweet, with a scent of lavender and mother. Oh, drink it in until your arms raise themselves to heaven, your head tilts, eyes rolling back in your head, and your sacred animal body is mindless and in love. The garden of delights, neurotic in effect, lulling the senses from tension into sacred liquor that love may be experienced. Let us rest here in the midst of so much light, where the goodness of life is felt and the heart is free from any prison of pain or doubt. Come, come be in the garden with me now. Let us be free and feast to our heart's content. All right, that was a long one, but that was beautiful. Okay, so the poem, we just did the poem. The little ritual you can do is much shorter. So I'm gonna take a sip of water and then I'll read you that real quickly. Okay. Excuse me, sorry. So where are we at? So the sacred honoring ritual for this card, if you're into it, says, say aloud, I accept the gift of golden grace and healing now, to leave behind all prisons and tombs, conscious and unconscious, of heart and of mind. I open up to life and assistance through unconditional love, in being present to the miraculous beauty that seeks to live through me, as me, and in the benefit to all humanity now. I know myself to be worthy of this grace, to be this grace, so be it. Place your hands gently on your heart and rest for however long feels good. You are finished. You have completed your ritual. Okay, so yeah, that is really beautiful. I like the thing where it said about let's be in the present. It said a lot of beautiful things, but remember in the recent past, current energies, there was the Five of Swords where you weren't focusing on the present here, Cancer, or someone else wasn't focusing on the present. So then this card says, yeah, go out in nature. That is a fast way to focus on the present, even if it's not summer or spring, right? There has to be something out there that can get you in touch with the present moment. All right. So, with all that being said, we're going to end your reading here now. Thank you guys so much. If you stayed all the way through and stuck it out with me. But even earlier, that's too. I appreciate everyone's energy, and I appreciate your likes and your shares and your subscriptions. They're all free ways that do help the channel here for me. And so if you want to subscribe and you haven't yet, all you have to do is click on the bell icon on the bottom right and make sure it's blue and it's active, and it'll just tell you, notify you when I put out new videos. But yes, hopefully later tonight we'll see, fingers crossed, I'll come back with Leo. Yeah, that's next. Leo's next. All right. So see you guys later and take care of yourselves. Okay. Bye. And Nefertiti says bye to my meow. Bye. Bye, guys.